everyone, and welcome to Star Wars Legends of the Sprawl at Chaotic Neutral Games. I'm Simon, your DM for tonight, as we join Felicia, Ed, and Corinne with their adventures at the fringe of Imperial space. Don't forget that you can help or indeed hinder by using your channel points in the game. Check out the options in the chat bar below. And you can also join the chaos, if you haven't done so already, by clicking the Discord link, the Discord button in the information below, or indeed becoming a subscriber. So let's rejoin the players for their continuing mission, Jerk Chicken, which hopefully should end up making sense, as we go back a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And welcome back, and hello to our players.
Hello.
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Apologies for last couple of weeks. There was one that I think was down to one of us needing some rest, and another one was me freaking out about me getting old and needing to sort out my health and stuff like that. So
life is more important than games sometimes.
How dare you? How dare you?
Only sometimes.
Only sometimes.
I definitely needed the time. So thank you everybody for your patience with that. And we managed to get keep up the other games. I don't know what it was about Tuesdays. It's just that everything was happening either on a Monday night and I hadn't recovered by Tuesday, or Tuesdays in general was just a generally bad day. So yeah. Anyway. So hello, Magaria. I think you joined us a while back, didn't you? So,
yes, I'm wondering if that's one of our guildies or not. I'm not sure. I'm thinking it might be Kothia.
So we are playing.
Tell us, please.
Please tell us.
If you're a fellow addict to our two lovely ladies here, then please stand up. Say, my name is Magaria, and I'm. Anyway,
I
play WoW.
So we are playing part 3 of Jerk Chicken, and that is bear in mind, for those of you who don't remember, this all started as a bunch of casual games that we had in the front room between myself, Corinne, Paul, and Ed. So we had to start tying up some bits, some story, and so we are digging into why JT is called JT, which stands for Ed.
Jerk Transport.
Jerk Transport. And digging into a little bit of JT's history. So JT was abandoned on a planet called Simon Has Closed Book, Vagantu. On Vagantu, they returned back to the planet to do a bit of CSI.
And we did.
The priority
we did
back
good
when
CSI.
There. But now that he looks back and starting to put together some memories and has the help of his crew, JT has managed to figure out who it was, who abandoned him, who was the jerk that day. But also, it doesn't seem as straightforward as all that. It wasn't just simply getting into a ship and flying off, which was the original backstory, but I had to make it more complicated to be a nice mission.
It wasn't the original backstory. It was JT's original memories.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Very much so. It's
Deus
not
Ex
as...
Machina, we don't use that. We don't use that.
No.
And so yeah, I decided to twist it up a little bit and tie it in with a greater story. So they found out that that the jerk at the time was a person called Paul Ota, who was young back then, but has now come of age, and then some is now kind of middle age. And they found out that Paul Ota was the son of a very successful, rising through the ranks corporate figure called Pasant Ota of the ISIS Corporation in Corporation Space. Knowing that they already had a fixer in Corporation Space, Matar, they contacted him and managed to get the feelers out to get Paul Ota interested in speaking to them. Matar did point out a few things and said that that Paul Ota is not really seen in social circles. You can get an audience with him, but he's not really seen that much in social circles. And so you'd have to go get a meeting with him. He is very hot on security. You'll just be walking in there with a bunch of weapons, for example. And you'll have to figure out more about what was going on. So with a lot of the gear that you picked up, you decided to head back in JT's fire spray, which, have you given it a name yet?
No, I keep forgetting to think of a name. But
He's finished the Lego,
yes,
which is just fucking sweet. It's beautiful.
Like, there was only one thing I could buy for my first big Lego set in over 10 years. It had to be that.
Amazing.
I don't think it does.
No, we don't have a
Snipe,
name
no.
overlay Snipe.
I must admit, again, because this was kind of a casual thing that we threw on during COVID, we haven't made it as polished as some of the other things. But for actually, for anybody who's watching, let's do a recap. It's been weeks, so let's go around the players. Hopefully, you know the players already, but introduce your characters. I was about to say, if you don't know Felicia and Corinne, where have you been? Yeah.
We're in everything. Hopefully we will not be in everything soon, Tia.
No, I'm booting you out for one of the up-and-coming things. Ed's going to be around, but I'm bringing back Rodrigo and some friends that we've gained along the way. So first of all, Corinne, explain who your characters.
So I'm Corinne, and I am in everything. And my character is Nima the Twi'lek, the Force-sensitive talkie person. She had a talkie person buddy whose player had a child who now can't be here. Paul,
yes,
say
Paul.
hi in the chat.
Yes, Paul was one of the original players and also originally came on to stream with us. But he's off enjoying being new daddy for the second time.
Has Bubby.
And we wish him all the best. Yeah, he may pop in from time to time. I know he's been watching the VODs, certainly. So
There he is. He's in the chat.
Oh no, there he is, Douglas. Yeah. Hello, Paul. Yes. Sorry, carry on, Corinne.
Yes. She is a Force-sensitive bard who has her obligation, because if you don't know, in Final Fantasy Flights Genesis system, you have a obligation in Edge for the Empire that is something. So my obligation is obsession. Again, because apparently all my
not very different from Eclipse. I know.
Not
chat.
at all. Not at all.
About the old Jedi Order, some more old temples. The old Jedi Order, she's also Force sensitive, so she's in great danger from the Empire, but she's more of a emotional influencer rather than moving objects around. Yeah.
And that's where she kind of nestled up to Chevron, which was Paul's character. Paul's character was very much a bit of a dealer. He was definitely a more of a streetwise negotiator, very guile and cunning type of guy. Whereas Nima just smiles at people, and the Force makes them feel all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, she is much more. She's flirted with a lot of like things to get things done, much to the dismay of her wife, Victoria,
Which
who's
is
currently
probably a
on
good-
screen.
Yeah, so probably a good segue into Felicia's character then. So go ahead, Felicia.
I'm playing Victoria, who you can actually see on screen right now. She's basically my space Viking because, like, yeah, you know, I wanted to be big, I wanted to be buff, I wanted to be beautiful, you know, everything I'm not. Okay, I'm still beautiful, but you know.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
still
good.
beautiful.
Thank you for the clarification. Otherwise, I would tell you what.
But yeah, it's big and buff,
Exactly.
not quite. You have to go to the gym more, Felicia. Lift some weights so you can be buff.
Yeah.
You're in Sweden. Surely there's like a big sword you can pick up or a hammer.
Yeah, I should,
Isn't that a sport or something? Surely, you know, like
should be. Oh,
yeah, there should just be an event
Either
called
way,
Borneo.
I'm playing this space Viking. I have a big ass, sweet ass sword. You know, that's my thing. I stab
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
and I protect my wife, who keeps getting into trouble because, of course, she is. Why wouldn't she get into trouble? You know,
Yeah.
random Sith targeting her. You know,
Yeah.
all the fun stuff.
Well, to be
the
fair, the
Sith
Sith is targeting you all.
Yeah, it's
So,
talking to
yeah.
all of us. Though specifically, I think me, Chevron, and JT, because Victoria was not in Steak Slice.
That's true. She wasn't in Steak Slice, so that's when you first ended up on a random Sith's radar
Yes.
for reasons. But we'll get to that. And then finally for today, we have JT. So Ed.
Yes, I am Ed. Seldom bucket in chats and stuff because I've realised I don't like link those two up very often.
Oh yeah,
sometimes just
I'm
my
so
name
loud
pops
in
up.
chat, by the way. I never say that anyway.
I am playing JTVO, who is originally a law enforcement droid, bought and reprogrammed to be some kind of safari droid, taking jerks out to shoot big game. Abandoned, developed, super abandonment issues. It's really not great considering he is mostly a sniper, but it's fine.
That's fine.
Rescued by the aforementioned characters.
Yeah.
And jetting around the galaxy, slowly replacing parts of himself.
Yeah.
So from the original model, he's bulked up, he's got IG arms that spin all the way around, and he's bought himself a cloak recently.
Yes.
He's getting into fashion.
Yeah, he's near unrecognizable for an LEVO now. His core is still, because the core box that has the core programming, which is effectively the mortality of the droid, it's in the center of the chassis. That's still the same, but pretty much everything has been changed.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting some leg replacements soon, as soon as they come in.
Oh, it's a leg replacement soon, TM.
So those are the characters at the moment, and as I say, you should know most of the players. Yeah, you're currently in not the most lavish of trips back in your fire spray. I think when we left off last time, you were entering the Sprawl.
Yes.
And going to rally yourself before going back off into Corporation space. So that's where I hand over to you guys. What are you doing?
So I remember last time we sent off some messages
Yes.
to our friends in corporate space. Well, our friend in corporate space. We've
Yep.
only got the one.
Yes.
And a couple of friends locally. And I remember thinking the planet we were on had some Vornskir, which kind of appeared from nowhere. Nobody really knows who sent them, and like try and find a kind of a source on them. I'm not entirely sure who would be able to do that.
They do seem incredibly exotic and kind of inefficient way of killing a person. You know, I mean, a good blaster, a good mercenary. Why train a pack of force-sensitive hunters?
I
go
have
there.
a vague memory of paying some up-and-coming adventurers to do a little job for us with
You
Boss Ixo.
Yes.
And I can't remember exactly what the job was because my notes
So
Teleport at the end of the session on site.
you were asking Boss XO to do something, but you didn't want it associated with you in any way. So you contacted Nala, and you asked Nala to find a bunch of random adventurers to go off and persuade XO to do it, or to commission XO to do it in your name without revealing who you are.
I just can't remember what it was.
I think you wanted him to assess the technology. That's what I've got here.
Yes, because the Vornskir were somewhat mechanical.
They had implants. They had implants attached to their spines, kind of just underneath the neck, and that was kind of conditioning them in a way to behave. Because Vornskir are fiercely intelligent hunters. And they're still bestial, but they have a high intelligence compared to other beasts. And you were asking XO to look into that and to who would have that kind of technology.
Yes, and that is how we were coming back, going to trace the Vornskir back to their source, hopefully, even though it was. How long ago was it that I was rescued? I can't remember if we actually decided.
We said it was in the 2 figures. It was about 7 to 10 years or something that you'd been there. And then these guys, how long ago it is compared to now, you get to decide. Yeah,
I think I was on the planet for about 3 decades, so it was pre-Order 66.
It was definitely pre-Order 66. So you were on the planet quite a while. How long ago it was, I guess, is only kind of compliant with the characters' ages, the biological characters' ages, because it needs to make sense in that sense. But other than that, I don't mind. I mean, you'll give that kind of information as well as the time scale as to how long ago this was. It certainly wasn't so long ago that the Vornskir are still some of the original Vornskir were still alive.
Yes.
Yes. But
they're
again,
not so alive anymore.
No.
Most of them.
Categorically not. Yeah. And I believe you're returning because you actually have a live sample to give to Ixo so that he can do his investigation. Was it live or preserved?
I think it was preserved. I don't think we left any of them alive.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it was whole. That was it. That was why it was better than the others, is that it was one of the ones that Victoria hadn't cut to shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I do my job very good.
So
that is cutting things up.
So I think essentially we were dropping back home for upgrades and stuff before we went out to corporate space to Matar and a meeting with Powell, possibly.
Yep.
So, yes.
Also dropping off the sample, getting information from our people on the asteroid, I think, was the plan.
So
I'm going to be honest, I am really racking my brain to remember what we said at the end of that session.
That's okay. That's why I briefed you just beforehand. Now, all you need to know is that you're going to Polota and you're finding out what the hell happened that day.
It was also the really hot week. Like, not the week before was the hottest week, but that week was also quite hot.
That was the week where we were all brain dead and somehow still managed to play.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back into the swing of it. Getting there.
So the fire spray is flying through the asteroid field that you call home, the Sprawl, one of the largest asteroid fields in the known galaxy. Heavily mined out, you can see that Swiss cheese style large asteroids flying around with holes so big and so large in some of them that you can literally just fly through the ring of the donut. The fire spray, compared to some of the larger ships that you have, is quite easily nipping through it all. You're not in any particular rush, and you're just taking a bit of a scenic route back. However, the sting in the tail of the fire spray, the twin cannons and the tail, are doing their top graphics. You can't beat it. It's like you're there. And the twin cannons are ready, of course, and you have Victoria neatly behind the gun sights, ready to blast any stray rock that comes out of nowhere. Thankfully, it's an uneventful trip. and soon you are heading back to presumably one of two places. The incredibly large asteroid, almost a planetoid or a small moon, which is Nala's Warren, or you're going back to the smaller asteroid that you guys call home, your secret asteroid base that was given to you by Nala some time ago now.
I am trying as hard as I can not to link this fire spray to me. Only the people who sold it to me know, as far as I know, that I own it. So we're going back to the asteroid first.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Home
what I
first.
was gonna suggest. Since you want to keep that secret, it's better to use one of our other ships to go into the main asteroid.
We
Absolutely,
have our
yes.
like ferry skiff, which we can cram ourselves in.
You know that you can't place the fire spray into the large but not that large landing bay in your asteroid base. However, you have already prepared for this, and in one of the craters, neatly tucked away, is your little skiff that you use to get to Nala's Warren. You park up the fire spray, load up what you need to into the skiff using the spacesuits. Well, for you two, JT obviously doesn't need it. You hop into the skiff and go into the asteroid base proper. In there is the big, beautiful experimental ship, the Locatar, that you have liberated from a former Moff. And you...
You say liberated. You mean stole.
Yeah, liberated. No.
liberated. Yeah. Repurposed. Recycled.
Before it was
Upcycled.
trapped,
Yes.
and now it is not trapped.
Yes.
Liberation.
Now it is.
There
Now it is in better hands and
Yes.
for better use.
When you get in there, you can see that there's a kind of like a skid, like a mark on your landing bay
Mark.
that definitely wasn't there before. It looks like maybe like a broken landing gear on the left-hand side of the ship, based on the fact that it curves a certain way.
Is it on our ship?
No, it's not on your
It's
ship.
on
There's
landing
just
bay.
there's like a scar in the floor of the landing bay that suggests a
Comes
ship
out.
with a broken left-hand landing gear, probably a fighter. You're guessing by the size and by the fact that when it came in, it clearly had some trouble stopping and kind of cut a groove. That's there, and it's bold as brass. The second that you land, you're like, "What the hell? It looks fresh." But coming out of the coming out into the landing bay, because the landing bay doors go, is Tweak. He's got a piece of tech, and he's currently kind of just fiddling with it. He's like, "You're here. Hi."
Hi. Did you do this?
No. Mandalorian game.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah.
They needed to do some repairs, so I helped them. I hope that's okay. They seem to know that they were allowed here.
Yes.
They are.
They are.
Well, that's good, because I wasn't going to argue with a Mandalorian.
And wise.
Anyway, I'm trying to sort out the environmental systems here. It's a little bit musty. Can you smell musty? I can smell mushrooms. So I'm going to try to
That
clean
might
the
be
air.
the Bacta tank. Has Chevron been here recently?
Not for some time.
Okay.
And when he did, he came in, picked up some crates, and went.
I am remembering now, at the end of last session, we also spoke to Tweaks a little bit about the cameras. So I presume that conversation happens now.
Well, indeed. Do you have the cameras for me?
I think we've already had this conversation. This is to Simon.
We
We've
have
already done this.
I think we've already had this
Yes.
conversation,
Yeah.
haven't we? Okay, so in that case, we'll just say that you came back from an errand. Yes, actually, it's coming back now. I didn't
Yes.
have enough time when I got into to watch the last video. I apologize.
Okay.
He goes,
I
I only got a few extra bits from the cameras, but if you're interested.
Yes.
Well, if there's anything more than you told us last time.
What was? Did we
no,
find anything?
not really. More just the layout.
Did we find anything on the cameras last time?
Yes.
Last time you did get that that the people who were firing were in the Lone Star Safari Company uniforms, but it was clear that they were not one of the handlers because JT didn't recognize them at all.
Yeah.
And also the way that they shot their guns, JT rolled and managed to get. See, now I've been told it's all coming back because it's the plight of a DM. Did we do that, or is that just in my notes?
Yeah.
So yeah, the second that JC saw the shooting, he was like, "That's a fucking mercenary," and I think Victoria got that as well.
Yeah.
So
I think I got it from the posture, not how they shot.
yeah, it was like the badassery. I think I got you to do a coercion check, and you were like, "Yeah, badass spots badass," kind of thing. Yeah. So you know that the mercenaries that came in dressed up in Lone Star uniforms, and they didn't seem to be firing specifically at you, but you did see some shots that came off camera that were pretty much written JT was here all over the shots, and was taking them out with fierce precision. I mean, considering he was only a safari droid up until that point, he was taking names. And presumably that was some sort of protocol that was set off by Polota and the ISIS Corporation, because, and I'll remind you of this as well, that JT went through the standard security check, which meant that he had to download some proprietary software to check that he didn't have anything in him that would make him harm the client. And they checked him and they were like, yeah, he's safe. And obviously they dropped some sort of obedience program in there by which JT would absolutely obey Palota's every word. So a tweet goes that what's your next move?
I'll be honest. No offense. I want to involve as few people as possible.
Probably wise. If you need anything, and he kind of points to his slicers kit. Just say, I only need to know what you need me to do. But
absolutely,
still, we're family, we're crew.
Yeah.
And he just toddles off, and is trying to make this asteroid a little more livable for certainly the organics.
Yes, because it's like, I think like Nima and Victoria's mostly spent, like, instead of sleeping in the musky asteroid, we slept on the ship.
They have a nice bedroom there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've established that we've got our back to tank hot tub.
Yeah.
We've got a kind of a living room as well, which is fairly comfy, but the rest of it, as far as we know, is
still to be developed.
Yeah.
If anything, weirdly, the one person you needed for that is Chevron, because he would have brought in a lot of creature comforts, but he's off doing other shiny things right now.
Yeah.
His money's being spent in other places.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So us being practical beings, like, oh, we could just sleep on the ship in a very nice, like, bedroom there.
How about we say that the errand that you just went on was you dropping off the sample to Nala?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
She turns to you, this wily old, but not too old. Bothan. This wily old Bothan, and she goes, yes, quite an exotic way to die. But what can I say? I've seen stranger things from the rich and shameless. We will get this sorted out. I have a few people who are happy to be blissfully ignorant, and they will take the parcel over to Ixo.
Well, the odds you think Ixo will be able to trace a source?
He's obsessed with conundrums such as this. As long as there's not a
more appealing conundrum available to him, he will do it with, I have to confess, impressive efficiency.
He creeps me out. Not many people creep me out, but he creeps me out.
He is the type, isn't he? Anyway, how are things going for you?
Progressing.
Good. It's good to be resolving personal quirks. Relieving baggage from time to time can be good, lest you fall under the weight of it, you understand?
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
I'm sure. Anyway, anything else that you need from me?
Oh yeah, we've got a crate of slap cuffs we need to return.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just drop it off at the security desk. That'll be fine. Thank you for bringing them back. Normally, I kind of expect anything borrowed will be somehow, frankly, destroyed in the exploit.
I thought you thought better of us.
Oh, I do, but only just.
Only just.
She leans on her stuff and says,
It's strange. I've never been force sensitive, but every now and again I get a feeling of foreboding. We live in dangerous times.
Well,
The Empire is blissfully distant from us at the moment, but I don't know.
Well, the Force is all around us, even if you're not sensitive to it.
I don't need the sermon, Nima, but it is appreciated. Yes, I know well the Force.
I'm sure the bounty numbers clicking up are helping as well.
I must admit we've become more popular of late. Some of the bounty hunters that used to visit us now visit other asteroids, being that we are now the commerce hub for the Sprawl.
Your business with Chuck Polbess has gone well then.
Oh, very much so. I have personally prospered, but the Warren as a whole has prospered more. Fresh water, fresh food. The general health of the people here in the Warren is getting better. And yes, we are learning more and getting more information about the galaxy around us. Although we are feeling a little exposed, a little naked. I'm sure we'll get accustomed to it.
Huts to the left of me, corporates to the right.
Yeah. But it was ever thus, and they already knew we were here.
That's true.
True. Anyway, I've got some guns to buy.
Always a good time. Give me a shout if you need anything.
Will do.
Take care.
and she hobbles with what you know is an absolutely fake hobble away from it all, because Nala's a monk. She walks away with a little bit of a limp in her leg. You're pretty sure it was the other leg last time you saw her. She only barely puts on the act. She heads off. So speaking of guns, did you want to quickly go to Oz now? I'm not going to turn this into a shopping episode, but
I just wanted to see if my legs had come in.
When you walk in, the legs are pretty much standing on their own in a brace, up against one wall, kind of in pride of place. Osna seems to be pretty proud of them, showing, this is what I can do, kind of thing. You know that he will occasionally leave out because his place is armed to the gills. He will put some of his finer pieces up on the wall, caring less about whether or not they're stolen and more about whether or not they're seen. And sure enough, you can see your legs. So describe the legs, because this is your spend.
Yes. I hadn't thought about this because I was thinking about IG legs, but they don't work amazingly. They're just legs.
Legs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just like fairly svelte. You know, what is it? B2 droids, super battle droids. Mm-hmm. That kind of curved silvery metal. It's kind of organic almost.
Yeah.
But in matte black, as is the rest of me currently.
Yeah.
Sweet ass legs.
And
Now we're
your
talking.
knees have got full rotation, so it's like a proper ball joint and all the rest of it, because it conveys although it's a hefty ball joint, I mean, it's like a cannonball in each of your knees. And the reason for that is, what does it convey?
It increases my agility by 1.
Ooh.
Which doesn't sound like much, but in Genesis it means a lot. In D&D, you're like, oh, I went up by 1. It's like, oh, that's pretty good. Did you get to another even number? In this, it's a big thing. It increases your dice pool by 1.
It means I now have 6 agility, so I'm rolling 6 dice when I'm shooting.
That is insane. 6 agility is amazing.
Yeah. So in marksmanship terms, because it's like, oh, how can your legs make your aiming bigger? Well, of course, I've had to think about this. Basically, it tripods you. So your feet have actually got bits on the side that go down and make you and steady you better. And even if you're on uneven ground or even slightly moving terrain, even if you're stood up in a speeder, for example, your legs will kind of what's that thing that cameras have got where you can move
Gyroscope.
around? The gyroscopic.
Gyroscopically.
Is that max agility?
No.
Technically, no.
Because
So the way
as
that
long
Genesis-
as he keeps upgrading himself, there is technically not a limit. It's to the DM's discretion of how many dice he will allow us to use.
Well, it's more to my discretion of how many upgrades he can have before he's putting upgrade over upgrade.
Yeah.
So the way that it works in the Genesis system, for those of you I know, Paul already knows this, is that when you decide your attributes, you decide at character creation, and they do not go up normally. They don't go up by leveling or anything like that. You can't do that. There are some things in the talent tree which allow you one increase, a literally increase of 1 on 1 stat that you can buy into, but it's a lot of work. So the way that you can do it in space games is that you can buy cybernetic implants. They normally have a downside, unless of course you're a droid and made of technology, which of course Ed is rocking at the moment. So for him, he has got a capacity, because after that he just becomes ridiculous and has like arms and legs everywhere. But at the moment, JT still has some capacity to upgrade himself. So if he finds something that is in the books that allows him to increase his agility, bear in mind he can't increase his agility using drugs, which is one of the things that you can do in a lot of the games, actually, if you're an organic. So instead, he just rocks the extra upgrades.
Yeah, I think this is it for cybernetic characteristic upgrades.
Yeah.
I think any other cybernetics is going to be in skills
Wait,
now.
you've switched the chest? You've switched the arms?
I've done arms and legs, and I've integrated 2 different types of armor. 1 for Ion.
Yeah.
I've got holsters, hidden holsters everywhere.
Yeah.
And you switched out
And
your
a visual
optic
suite as well. Yeah.
And a visual suite, yeah. And Chevron has a tiny little blaster hidden somewhere in my back.
Yes.
Yes. Somewhere that Chevron just knows just that one little bit that he can touch just the right way on JT's back, and a blaster will come out, which I love. It's a little tip of the hat to R2 being a mobile armory. You walk in there, and Osna turns around and goes,
JT. Would you like to try?
I knew you could find me something better than those IG legs.
Oh, of course. You have little faith.
I paid you for this. Surely I have faith in you.
Wow.
I'm going to go and just lie down on the bench.
no ceremony. You just go straight up, lie down, and Osna has
She's
been
on me
basically
now,
your
is
fixer
what
for
she
most of
keeps
your changes, so there's no ceremony anymore. You guys watch as he walks up with what is the space equivalent of an air gun, an air ratchet, and in what would make certain organics wince, just suddenly goes and starts taking apart his pelvis. Yeah, about 15 minutes later, and he does throw the old legs over his shoulder unceremoniously, as something that's been bothering him for ages. He's just like, and gone, and brings over the new legs almost with some ceremony. I mean, bear in mind, paint isn't even scratched, and starts rebuilding the pelvis, making sure that these are hard mounted into the central column of your body. So the central column of your body goes straight into some very powerful hips, which themselves can adjust, and then straight down the legs. With, as I say, these quite, it's quite heavy spherical joints. A large one at the knee, kind of an incorporated one at the hip, and then two smaller ones, which are effectively your ankles. And he says,
So I got all of the extra bits and pieces in there. Can you just activate your holsters? No using your hands now.
And
can I?
You activate your holsters, and sure enough, Robocop style, your legs open up and two weapon ports come out. Osnar goes to the old legs, presses a few kind of contacts, pulls out the guns, and starts slotting them in. And he goes,
I know you can put them in yourself. I want to check the fit.
and he goes,
Okay, and close. Perfection. As if we expected less. Anyway, look at you. Couple of dings, couple of dents. We're gonna have
Builds
to spray you.
character.
Yeah.
Leave it. It builds character.
Fair enough. Okay, go and start taking
I
names.
presume there is some kind of target in this shop, because I'm going to very
God.
quick draw, bang, target.
yeah. There's a far end of the workshop. There's a bunch of targets.
Just wanted to make that
Next
roll.
to a sign saying "You shoot it, you shot it, you bought it," and it is perfect. The balance is perfect.
Well, did you want to do a attack roll? Was that your plan?
I made the roll. I just haven't put. I just wanted to roll 6 dice.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Oh,
That's
wow.
fair.
So
I didn't put a diff on it, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Diff
just
1.
wanted to roll
It would
the
be a diff
dice.
1, so roll 1 purple dice.
Yeah, it literally couldn't do anything to that. Anyway,
So, new legs, ready to go. You guys do notice that even though JT has increased in weight, I think you're about 3 times your original weight now.
yeah, I'm pretty heavy.
Yeah.
You put on some weight. We should go
Where
on a diet.
previously he kind of lumbered a bit, he walks perfectly. He walks absolutely like a cat. And the way that the feet, when they come down, the feet seem to scallop. You have a feeling that if he was to try to do something like balance on a pole or walk on difficult terrain or something like that, that it would scallop around the thing that he's trying to walk on.
Your balance is better now. You needed that.
Yeah.
Rude.
From a warrior, that's it's fairly matter of fact. From Victoria of going, you are a better warrior now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh god, I've just seen your roll 5 successes and 5 advantages. This is going to be crazy. You can see as this walking sniper turret of JT now.
Yeah. That's
is,
one way to describe him.
is ready to go.
One more thing. I keep missing with thermal detonators. Can you get me a few more?
Sure. I'll get on that, and I will go to the shopping district for some thermal detonators. Hey, can I have mini nuclear bombs, please?
Well, we're in Osno's shop. Osno would be the person
Yeah.
to have it.
Yes. Do you have any mini nukes?
Oh, my book is just over there. Hang on a sec.
Mini nukes are just,
I
Fun.
will kill more than one thing with a thermal detonator at some point.
Yes.
at some point.
So far, it has been 0 and then 1. So surely the next thing is going to be at least 2,
Yes.
Yes.
right?
We shall keep trying until we succeed in murder.
I mean, with 6 dice, I have now
Yeah.
cursed the entire thing.
Yes.
Let me check state of play. Okay. So. Thermal detonators.
2 grand.
Understandably, they are quite rare.
Yes.
We're just asking for nukes.
Yes, really.
Even in a lawless place, well, not lawless, but rough place like the Sprawl, mini nukes, or thermal detonators, as they are known in this canon, are quite rare, to the point where they have a rarity of 8 and relative rarity for where you are.
Do I have anything?
Very restricted.
Yeah, you're looking at a daunting check here, so it's not quite a formidable check, but it is a daunting.
So that's the 4.
That's diff 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I will try whatever check I need to do. Did I thought I pulled up. Oh, it's just on. I forgot to pull up Sky Jedi on my own. I have it up on the stream. No, Sky Jedi is not what I want. Sky Jedi, thank you. Nima, and
Sorry, didn't mean to turn it into a shopping episode.
no.
Oh no,
I'm
we
done
can
after
get
this,
this done
so-
quickly. It's fine. It's fine.
It's just thermal detonator. I don't think Corinne and I was planning on buying anything because
No.
honestly, I'm running out of melee things to buy.
Yes.
Just keep buying new legs.
It's like, yeah,
Just
but
do what I do.
yeah.
What do you want
It
me
is
to use
very
for it?
annoying.
Charm, negotiation.
This would be a negotiate check.
Cool.
But really, it is very annoying that in Star Wars, apparently the only things you can buy are guns, ships, or droid parts. And
That's Star Wars.
cybernetics.
That's Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Where
I
are
do
my
my
swords?
when I do my post APOC game, which I intend to get around to doing at some point, it's not like number 1 on the list, but I do want to do it on stream at some point. The things to buy will start to become mundane but essential. Although the playthrough that we had before, they did end session 2 with a gun in the UK because of reasons. Anyway,
Because Ed is very good at let's see, that is...
You let them use Google, you can blame yourself.
but that's part of the fun. Part of the fun is that anybody can Google. And it's something that the viewers would be able to do as well, and just turn around and saying, I found this place over here, and basically that's just a member of the a member of the colony contacting them on the walkie-talkie and saying, "Hey, have you checked this place out?" So again, it's good for interactivity.
Any blues at all that I get?
Does she get the blue for Victoria's good reputation on the
For once,
asteroid?
no. Yeah, for once, no. Yeah. So the reason why no is that when she checks, the only people that have thermal detonators that are left are other bounty hunters. So when I rolled, there are 2 available.
Okay.
Yeah. So even if you completely max out, there are 2 available.
I'm gonna make my roll. I roll my force dice with this because of my force things. So it's
Yeah.
2 yellow, 2 green, and 2 force dice.
Yeah.
Oof.
Ooh.
No.
Did the persuasion bunny do correct? No.
No.
No. You anger both of the things. They find you persistent. They find you annoying, and one of them ups and leaves, and actively avoids you after that. The other one puts his hand on his pistol and tells you in no uncertain terms to fuck off.
And so off we fuck.
Sorry, JT.
That's all right. I'll just.
She's
grab
got to fail
one from-
sometime
Yeah.
Yeah.
with a dice ball that she normally pulls.
Just grab one of the grenades from Chevron's stash. He bought like 100 tiny grenades. So.
Yeah, you've got like regular concussion
Yeah.
grenades or
Yeah.
frag grenades.
Yeah.
So whichever grenade you have, you open up your grenade pocket, put it in there. And
Chevron, you don't happen to have any spare thermal detonators we can borrow?
no, he does not. At the moment, he is currently deciding what combination of Twi'lek and Jawa dancing girls he wants in his club. And whether it's Twi'lek, Jawa, or the other way around. It's the thing. Anyway,
Java dancers, okay.
don't you
I
have
would
to,
have thought Togruta, but sure.
Oh well, you know, in other dance combinations, of course, but you know.
I'm gonna send a message out to like the team if we are kind of split apart. We are leaving tomorrow, just before kind of dawn on the Sprawl. Dawn.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, whatever dawn is in this, when the lights turn on.
You give a thing.
Okay.
Yep. It's like human pyramid. It's nice and fuzzy at the top. Anyway.
On top of it. God.
I did not need that image
That
in my
mental
head.
image. I was going to throw some Ewoks in there as well, but it's perfect as it is. But anyway. So you put out the word, and last you hear back is from Nalo as she goes,
Ixo took the bait. He was fascinated. He'll take a little time, but as soon as I know, I'll send it to you encrypted.
Which way around this stuff?
My customer's choice is always important.
Yep. So, you have Matar saying that as soon as you arrive in the system, he will be able to lock down a particular date, not particular date, particular time in the following days. So I presume it's off to corporate space unless there's anything else that you guys would need.
I think it's good to crack on. I don't have anything particular. This is JT's thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which ship?
We're
are you
here
taking?
for moral support and murder.
We are taking the fire spray.
You don't want to take the Lakota?
No, because this is still like, I don't want it coming back to us in case like it all goes horribly wrong and there's some ridiculous conspiracy we're stepping on.
Okay, yeah.
Because I know how corporates get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've only just shaken off the last bunch of bounty hunters. So
into the tiny cramped fire spray we go.
Yep, JT's absolutely fine, but for the other two, it's a good thing you two are married because, let's face it, you're going to be spending a lot of time in each other's personal space. The fire spray hasn't got the lovely bedrooms, the lovely galley and mess room that the Lakota has.
Is there even like a bunk room for us to sleep in? Or
There are bunks. It's more kind of like the bunks are in the bulkhead, and then there is a table that you can sit at.
I actually know the layout of a fire spray now.
Of course you do. Yeah.
So the top is so that big screen is actually 2 levels.
Yeah.
One of which is the cockpit, and the other of which is like the guard's station where you sit and just behind that is the guard's quarters, which is basically 2 bunk beds.
Wait,
and there is also a table somewhere around there.
Yeah.
We'll cuddle up.
I only remember it from certain books and things like that, because at one point I was a little obsessed with this fire spray. So yeah, I knew there were bunks in the bulkhead, and I knew there was a table somewhere in the ship, but that's about it.
I also have a name.
Oh.
This is the Strill.
The Strill.
A Strill is a species of highly intelligent carnivorous mammal native to Mandalore that Mandalorians used as hunting animals.
Nice.
Nice.
Like it. So it moves. My God, it moves. Are you taking X4 still?
If X4 is coming along with us.
Oh, he's very happy to. So yeah, he plugs himself in, and between him boosting your NAVCOM abilities, you've done this trip before. I'm going to say there's not a huge amount of effort now. There's always the possibility of pirates and things, but again, you're in what is famously a bounty hunter ship, and as you're flying through space, most people are giving you a bit of a wide berth. Not least of which, even if they were to raid you, chances are all they'd get is a bunch of frozen people.
Yes.
There's no point in raiding you. You're not a cargo ship.
Nope.
So you even manage to see what you assume are pirates on the edge of your radar, and you see them kind of approaching, and you see them turn away. You're just not worth it.
Even in our little trundly hyperdrive, it doesn't go very fast.
No. When it comes out of hyperdrive, it goes very, very fast. It's a very good fighter. But as you say, it's not as good a hyperdrive as the
Lakota. We should use this more often. People seems to leave us alone a lot more.
You're saying this as you're in a shaking.
We can just make the Lakota look like this at some point.
We should. We really should.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep this.
Let's buy a second one of these just for the code.
I mean, we don't need to buy one. We can just use one.
Yeah.
We could just blow one up.
Oh, that could be fun.
Fire spray versus fire spray.
So yeah, you make good time. However, for the two organics, it's a little bit grueling. This is like, being in the back of a van in a cross-country trip. Not a camper van, a van. You're jostled about a bit. There's places for you to sit.
Depending on where it is more spacious, Victoria will either spend time in the bunk or in the gunner station, basically just having her legs up on the counter, which is no, this is where I get the best sitting.
Yeah, because you're a big girl as well.
Yeah.
Cramped spaces are not your jam.
Nima
is tiny, so you're fine.
Yeah.
It's like being stuck inside an apartment in a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Indeed. To that end, I would like resilience checks. Diff 2 from Nima and Victoria, please.
Well, how do you have air turbulence in a place where you don't have air?
It's more the fact that the fire spray is meant for kind of quick go get them come back
What was the
trips. Diff 2. And it's not shaking from air turbulence. It's shaking from the fact that it doesn't have gravimetric stabilizers, it has them, but they are mostly directed at the cockpit.
And also for the same reason that all ships in Star Wars fly the same way up and bank when they turn.
Yes.
Yes. Because
World War II.
Yes.
One of the best things about Babylon 5 is that when they used to come in at weird angles.
I don't know how I rolled that badly on that roll.
Yeah, I know. It's like your specialty.
Wow, that's nasty. In all fairness, those purples stepped up. So...
Yeah, I can't handle the small space. That's it.
It's fine.
Too small. I don't
makes
have
perfect
space.
sense.
I can't even stretch out properly.
Yeah, I'm fine.
So, Victoria, you have what is basically a persistent level of strain. So you'll start with 2 strain. And that's basically, it doesn't go higher than that during the trip, but during the trip you get a base level of 2 strain. Yeah. However, you are kind of rocking it. You're kind of paying attention to yourself and that. Nima, you don't get any strain. You slob out. You take the moment to just go, you know what? I'm here. Let's do this. And you have noticed that Nima hasn't really been paying attention to her personal hygiene as much as she
I'm stinky.
She's a little ripe. It's not great.
Victoria kicks me out to the other bunk.
And there's no kind of shower facilities and stuff. You got to be careful with the washing on this trip. And thankfully, JT, any form of smell like that just comes to as data.
Yeah.
You get to the corporate space. Matar seems to head you off. I mean, you probably would have had some communications. He says, according to your ping, you're not that far away. Were you going to come into the vault first, or did you want to go straight into business?
Do you have anything for us at the vault?
Other than the pleasure of my company, no.
In that case, no.
Fair enough. Straight to business it is. I've managed to set you up. You're not going to kill the man, are you?
No.
Probably not.
Oh, fantastic. I'm thoroughly reassured. Yeah, I've kind of headed off your lack of assurance by telling him that I knew that you wanted to speak to him, but I didn't know much about you or what you wanted. So you haven't got VIP completely trusted access. They're going to treat you as somebody that they will speak to, that you have information that is important. I've told him that because I have been paid to silence, I know what the information is and that I believe that it's relevant. So do make a good show of it. He's going to think I'm a fool otherwise. And, well, best of luck. So I have his calendar here. Okay. I've just booked in, and you are expected in 7 hours. Here are the coordinates.
I need a shower.
Well, I suggest you find one in the next 7 hours then.
Well, I mean, where do you want to... I don't know where you'd find a shower. You'll have to tell
do
me.
you have a shower at the vault?
Well, I have many.
Can I use one?
Oh, now you want to come. You know, you could just book a hotel or a short stay closer
Oh
to
yes, which
his office.
planet are we going to anyway?
Oh yeah, hotel. Yes, let's book a hotel.
Let me get the planet.
We need to make sure we're not going back to
The place.
the planet name, which is coming up on the sheet somewhere in
Specific
Piranha
Eclectica.
system.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Not
that's
going
not
to
the,
Eclectica.
that's not the planet. That's the city. Eclectica is the planet. Sorry, Eclectica is the city, not the planet.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to go
so,
to that planet or city.
Yeah, it's in the Piranha system. No, this is in the Midas system. MYTUS.
Okay, that's fine.
yeah.
The
Nice hotel. for,
Nima
like-
and Victoria will quickly do the space Google search for hotels in that area.
Yeah, like
Yep.
nice hotels that was like space. We're like, yes, nice big shower, nice bed. That is not
If
like
Chevron can buy himself a fucking ship, we can rent a hotel room for the night.
yes.
Buy a fucking bar, we can have a hotel.
He's having that effect on you now. You know, there's that little chevron on the back of your head going, "Get the platinum suite. Get the platinum suite."
I can't guide you to a good hotel. The force guide me.
Force Yelp. You find a perfectly suitable one, and it says, "Will you be landing on the planet in your own ship?"
Yes.
We do have some nearby VIP landing pads if you wish.
I mean, are we using a real?
JT, do we want a VIP landing pad?
I mean, we don't have a skiff, so I don't see much other choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much is it
landing
going to
pad.
cost us? And who's going to be on the landing pad? Does the cost include... What's the word? Discretion?
Discretion is paramount for our kind of trade. So, our private landing pads have an enclosure to stop anybody tampering with your ship, and a guaranteed, as in defended, takeoff should you end up finding yourself pursued by undesirables, by which you know.
Perfect.
Perfect.
We'll take one.
We'll take one.
Of course, we will bill you, and that's added to the bill as well.
I assume this is
for a single day, which is what I presume it is.
Yeah.
He says, looking up.
What is a hotel stay in Star Wars, Simon? How have you not prepared this?
Okay,
all the
so
things
let's
we
see.
would do.
I've got a table here: waterfront property, tennis courts. Right. Yes. That in total will be 2,500.
Oh, that's expensive.
That's not too much. Yeah, we'll take that.
This is for like a platinum suite.
Yeah. We'll go for it. Yeah, let's take it. Fuck
For a
it.
day, yeah.
Let's take it.
And,
We'll take it. We'll
yeah.
take lots of pictures and send them to Chevron.
Yes.
Be like, hey, this is what we do when you're not here.
Yes.
You land, and as the doors open, a Deveronian and 6 security bots with rifles march in. The Deveronian seems to be in some sort of uniform. Immediately, I should imagine you all get a moment of anxiety, but when you step out of the fire spray, the Deveronian, this huge, hulking, dense flesh, muscular guy who is kind of wearing a doorman's uniform, rips a full-on military salute and says, "Don't worry, you're safe with us. My droids will stay around this the entire time. I shall be checking here every half hour."
Yes. We got our own droid with us. I assume that's okay.
Your own security droid?
Yes. Very much so.
By all means, do you want to leave the security droid here with the ship, or?
No,
I'm staying on the ship.
Do you want to stay on the ship?
I'm staying on the ship.
Okay.
Okay, good. He's on the ship.
Very
but
well, no problem.
A warning so you know that there is a droid on.
Of course, of course. And is your droid permitted to come and go as he please?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Well, very well. In that case, welcome to the Holborn. And sorry, just Googled hotels, and Holborn was the third one that came up. Yeah, welcome to the Holborn. Please,
Thank you very
follow
much.
me. And he kind of gestures, and a little kind of hover droid comes along, little flatbed. Please place your luggage on there. The droid will follow you to your room.
Yeah, we have some luggage. I assume we bring
Yeah.
clothes and stuff, so we'll pack that.
We were gonna go to a meeting. Of course, we brought clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
X4 goes up to the little hover droid and just kind of whistles. "I'm watching you, buddy."
Yes. X4, do you want to come with us, or do you want to stay on the ship?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. We will have, of course, our little astromech with us. If I assume that's no problem.
Of course, of course. Look at him, so shiny.
He is so shiny.
He is. He looks the very figure of finery.
Of course.
You put him in, what was it? Kind of like
Black and gold.
black and gold. Yeah.
Right, he has the unassuming trait.
Yeah, he has the unassuming trait, and it's kicking off now. They don't seem to find that strange at all. Absolute
Nope.
finery. I mean, he looks almost like a little mech in a suit. So
Yeah.
he certainly looks the part.
Yes, I'm very fond of him. I was given to him by my father.
Oh, how lovely. The Deveronian doesn't care. I'm going to get you to roll. The Deveronian doesn't care and is blowing smoke up your ass because it's his job.
Yes.
Oh, how lovely. How lovely.
Paid to be nice.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Now,
yeah,
let's get
he's-
to our suit.
He is very much playing the lovable giant kind of thing, and clearly how he got his job.
Can do that too.
I'm just
Do not
doing
recommend.
my normal
Be
cover
nice
up,
to everyone.
cover up thing. But yes, I'm this rich daddy's girl who's out with my wife, and this is my my daddy gave me this astrobag.
How very interesting, madam.
Yes. I obviously didn't say it like that.
Yeah. And so you get taken to the suite. The suite is probably bigger than my apartment. It's actually guaranteed bigger than my apartment. And it has its
I like our
own
apartment.
balcony with a small infinity pool on the balcony as well.
Oh.
And it has get shown around. They're saying, and oh, by the way, if you're leaning on the balcony, that's fine. Just don't put your hand out too far. And he kind of puts his hand out, and around about 40 centimeters off the edge of the balcony, there's a crackle as an energy shield gets touched.
Ooh,
and he says, every protection, platinum grade.
Very good.
Thank you so very much.
Everything has been scanned, everything has been sterilized, everything has been replaced. Literally, the only living thing that there was no living thing in here before we walked in. If you need anything, there's a communicator by there. I presume that you're accustomed to using it.
Very much so.
Ask what you will. Anything that needs to be billed will be added to your account. But you'll find a lot of things come with the package. So please enjoy yourself.
The communicator is already flashing. There's a message on it.
Yes, I check my communicator.
3 hours. You've got 3 hours.
Okay.
Let's get this going then.
Yes, I have a shower.
We have a spa day inside out, but we cram it into 3 hours and
Yeah.
come out
You can do
looking
that.
pristine.
Yes.
Okay.
And we this is like this an hour's nap. There's like 2 hours of just pampering.
I'm going to say
Needed after that tough ride.
for the money that you spent, get rid of your strain, Felicia. Yeah, you feel like a new woman by the end of it.
And
It
remind me,
was
how much
needed.
money was that in total?
2,500
2,500.
for a short day.
Shabra
Fine.
would be proud.
Yeah. So you get the full massage and all the rest of that stuff. It's 3 hours of absolute decadence, and at the end of it,
We need
you
to
are
get back on that fucking ship.
you are sweet smelling, loose, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had like 15 different lush pumps of bush. What would it? Lush, nush, bath
Nush
bombs.
bars. Yeah.
Bath bombs.
It's too close to mush bars, and I play oxygen not included in mush bars, are basically microbes and water. Anyway, so yeah, you two have recharged yourself, and so
I want to be.
presumably just before you are due to leave, you get a follow-up message from JT, and it's only a short walk, but looking at some of the things that come with the package, you have got free taxi service in the city. So
Yeah, that's probably useful.
yeah, and when the girls come down to meet you in the foyer, JT, there is already a hover speeder waiting for you with a not even a droid. You notice that in the front there is a piloting droid, but there's also a pilot. There are two pilots to this thing. And looking at the vehicle, JT, you know this vehicle can switch between land speeder and air speeder modes. Presumably, they keep their clients alive.
Yes. The location we're going to, I wouldn't need an airspeeder to get there, would I?
No. Well, yes and no, you can, but no, you don't need to.
I'm going to take my own swoop.
Okay.
Okay.
The
Sure.
ladies will take the taxi.
It's more of a mini chauffeur, mini limousine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you get into the back.
We are basically putting on the show that we're actually important.
Yes.
Yes. We're
Whereas
putting
JT's
on the
putting on
act.
the show of the bodyguard flying, speeding ahead on the swoop.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I put on. I still wear like my armor underneath as much as I can, but I put on a very pretty dress.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
dress that you got before we went to the cube.
Yes.
That was the expensive vest we've bought so far.
Yes, the one that Chevron
Okay.
decided.
It looks a bit weird with the armor, but nobody kind of questions you because they don't know where you're going. And this is a place that's frequented by gangsters and things like that. And they're just like, I am not fucking asking why she needs that because she might just shoot me. And also they take one look at Victoria and like, nope. Nope. And you get into the back of the kind of hover limousine. There is a slight strange buzzing noise, which JT would
To be fair,
immediately pick
the
up.
thing I have is armored clothing and then personal. So I assume the
You have the deflector shield.
I also have the deflector shield.
Yeah, which you can switch off and just have it on your arm, which again will look a bit weird, but you're just kind of like, question me, go for it. There's a bit of a strange buzzing coming from the limousine, which JT you recognise as a small shield generator that's attached to it as well.
Very good.
So only the best.
On the drive there, I will be messaging back and forth with the two in the car and X4, basically laying out the plan that I spent 3 hours coming up with.
Yeah.
Because while we were just pampering ourselves in a luxury hotel, JT actually made a plan.
JT was thinking as hard as he can.
Yeah.
With his one
He's very
intelligence.
fast because he's a droid.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I've got a plan. I have got images from the cameras in on displays. I'm going to have one of them shown to Mr. Otter and quietly allude to the situation on that planet. Try and get him without his associates. Guards may be alright, but I prefer to just have him and me in a room, or him and as few people as possible. And basically just go directly from there. And from there, improvise. That's my plan.
It's a sound plan. It's more of a plan than most role players have, so I'm really pleased.
It is a plan.
Let me just pull that.
It is
one
pretending
intellect's worth of
to-
plan.
Yes. Nima will say that she can probably get us at least all together, and I can say that I have had concerns because my father has a droid business, and I don't know.
Once you're in through the door, that's pretty much it. You're there.
Yeah.
So
The reason
I don't think
I'm
you need
telling
many
you this,
excuses past that.
No.
the reason I'm telling you this is because you need to do the showing of the picture.
Yes.
Because I'm going to still be playing security droid.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay,
show him, picture him, ask about it, and all of that.
I've also
Yeah,
got an
this
old
is not
rendering
my
of me.
mission. I'm not good at this shit. I'm gonna play the hot but also very dangerous wife in the background.
Yeah, are you wearing a suit?
I'm wearing my armor. I'm always wearing my armor when we're out.
Her armor's badass enough, I think.
I don't need a suit. I have
Ooh,
armor.
thank you, thank you both for the upgrade, nice.
Chevron
Can
giving us
do that on
inspiration
that
from
side of the
afar.
chat.
Yep. He's not playing at the moment, so he can use his channel points. You
One of the reasons me and Kieran wants to not play in at least one game, so we can
You've got about-
use it.
I have
Although you've just-
45,000.
45,000 on the top of being a chaos priest.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I need to think of things. But yes, so you stop in front of ISIS. Is it ESOS? ESOS Incorporated, and you get out, and a bunch of security droids turn around and say, "I shall need to see your invite on your datapad."
I bring
I
up
will-
You've been sent the email. Basically.
Yeah, I bring out
Yeah.
the invite as the de facto leader.
Let you
Validation complete.
the droid.
We noticed that many of you are quite heavily armed. Once you're in here, you will be safe. You're going to need to part with those weapons and put them in safe storage.
Of course.
I am disarming entirely except for Chevron's blaster.
Okay. Which I think has a diff 4 to spot. And so the sword, all your guns.
Do they actually want the sword, or are they okay with the sword being staying? Because normally they're like.
If it was a smaller sword, they probably would be okay with it. This thing is
It's
quite
huge.
clearly a fucking murderer. It is. It is a anime class sword.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have my rapier,
That also
Would
goes.
class as a murder sword.
Okay.
They look at it. They look at the finery and they say, "It'll be safe with us."
Thank you.
A kind of weapons locker shoots out of the wall, and they open it up and they say, "We cannot access it. Once it's in here, it closes you with your biometric information."
Oh, okay. That sounds...
You place your weapons in the locker.
Yeah.
You have no weapons on you apart from
the tiny
holdup.
blaster.
So I'm going
I
to...
have guns. okay?
Yes. Guns.
Yep. I'm going to do a quick scan for the holdup.
Corinne,
blaster at
would you
different-
mind showing off the sweet ass sword on the picture?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the hermit asked about how anime is my sword.
Oh, yes. I will make sure we can see the beautiful Victoria's...
Blaster? What blaster?
Only just though. Only just.
Yeah. Chevron's expert skills have hidden the blaster even from the scanners. Apparently the machinery inside you, some of the parts around you, looks so much like the blaster parts that they can't tell the two apart.
Good stuff.
It's completely hidden.
Good stuff.
You know where the blaster is, don't you? You know how to eject it.
Of course I do.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So
Do you think I would have a weapon on me I wouldn't know how to use?
True.
This is JT.
That's some level of roguery that you end up implanting a weapon in your friend and they don't know about it.
So this is the entire Victoria picture. It's because it doesn't scale very well with like having the entire picture. But there you have the entire Victoria with her amazing sword.
Yeah, I looked at Foundry Minion and I've looked at there was a previous thing, trying to remember the name of it. I've still got it on here, which was another virtual tabletop, which is like Roll20, but I stick to Roll20 at the moment, largely because I don't really
Exactly, hermit.
use virtual tabletops so
Exactly.
much.
I don't need guns. I
Exactly.
have guns.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, her blade is locked away though, Hermit, so she's got only lefty and righty at the moment.
Which is fine.
Well,
Because
lefty, righty. Would they take my boots?
Actually, when you go through the scanner, it goes. Security guard comes forward, and this one is
thank you for
a
the
Gamorrean.
sub-minion.
And the Gamorrean looks at it and just goes,
You're right. That's not gonna do anything. You're fine. Nice boots.
and
Thank you.
he just waves you through. Mostly they're just a stun thing,
Yeah.
and he's just kind of like,
Sure, you forgot a taser. You locked up a fucking huge gun and a fucking huge sword. You forgot a taser. It's fine.
so yeah, I'll let you have your shock boots. Because what are you going to do? Take your fucking shoes off.
Yeah.
So they're just like, yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry, one last point of order. I forgot, Chevron upgraded all the holdout blasters to just be normal blaster pistols because they are still one encumbrance.
Sure.
Doesn't change how hard it is to find though.
Yeah, you've got
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got a fair supply of those by now, so yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Last few
too.
major raids that you've done, you've come back with like a few. So I presume
we have
that you
extra
only
guns
keep like
here,
the
extra
nicest
guns
ones and throw the
there.
rest into like Nala's Warren and Recoups and costs.
Yeah.
Okay, and thank you,
Nice.
Minion.
Oh,
So
what's something
so
happening?
you get that in, and yes, you have a hidden blaster and a not hidden, but they don't really care about it, sets of shock boots. And a plucky Togruta walks forward and says, "Hello there, and welcome to the Essos Corporation. You're here to speak to. Let me see. Oh my, Mr. Paul Ota. Well, of course. Please come this way." And you can see that she takes you through what seems to be a really large vestibule, and goes up to what seems to be one of the more lavish-looking lifts. And she goes, "Just one moment. It's a dedicated lift, you know." And you can hear this kind of whimming sound as this kind of turbolift comes down. Yes, I know turbolift is Star Trek.
By the way, Simon,
and-
just in case you don't know, it's past.
I'm about to do it.
Yeah.
And she says, right, here we are. The doors open. and inside is a plush-looking lift. You remember this? This has clearly got like about 500, 600 floors, and this thing, the way that it came down and the huge amount of noise it made when it landed, you're going pretty far up. And so this actually has seats for people to sit down and magna clamps at certain points for droids to just stand and be magnetically clamped to the floor. You step in.
Sit down.
Is X4 with you?
Yes.
Yep, okay. JT and X4 clamp in. You guys sit down. The doors close, and suddenly you get a sinking feeling in your stomach as the lift goes hurtling up hundreds of floors. And with that, we're going to take a 10-minute break.
Lovely.
Yes, we will see you guys in 10-ish minutes. See you guys.
welcome back. So when we left off, you guys were hurtling up hundreds of floors
Yes. Just
in a mega
wanted
skyscraper.
to recognize. Thank you so much, Minia, for the resub.
Oh yeah, yeah.
For 4
I
months.
thanked him before the break as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were hurtling up hundreds of floors in a mega skyscraper in corporate space, in Mitos. The elevator starts to slow, and you could feel kind of gravity resuming. The gravity stabilizers on this lift are pretty good, but you can also hear there's a slight hiss as the air pressure up this high stabilizes, and the doors open. There's a lavish antechamber in front of you. Let's see what we've got here. A drawl steps forward and goes, "Ah, yes, you're expected. Let's see. Yes, there's the right number of you. Please, come this way." And you do notice that he very surreptitiously scans both droids. He's not exactly hiding it, but he's just doing it. With just a small kind of Omni device that he has in his hands. You walk into, you can see there are many doors that lead off this antechamber. You go through one, and there is a large kind of meeting room, like a boardroom. But you do notice that the table is kind of cut in half, and a presumably sliding kind of we'll say it's kind of a glass, I guess a reinforced glass or a transparent material wall is there, and there's a slight shimmer of an energy shield. And sat at the other end of the desk with a couple of guards who are armed but not holding their guns. They just got the guns kind of strapped and kind of casual to the side, kind of against their leg. And they're standing there at attention. 2 guards at the back. Is a human male, late 30s, early 40s. And he steeples his fingers and says, I think some form of introductions are in order. Yes, I was told enough about you for you to actually come here, but we've never been formally introduced.
No. Reminder to Corinne again, this guy is the guy that had a son that... Or is he the son?
No, this is the son.
He is the son.
This is the one who was with me.
Yeah.
And he doesn't recognize JT.
Of course not.
No.
I am entirely different. And a new paint job.
He's a new droid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
So his dad was involved with the Lone Star Safari, or
his father is a self-made man of the Issos Corporation, and he followed in his father's footsteps. When he was younger, he was brash. He was a bit of a hedonist, tripping off his father's money. That was when JT found him. Apparently, after that time, at some point around or just after that time, Paul Ota cleaned up his act. Basically, didn't leave his father's side after that, and rose to power and eventually succeeded his father upon his father's death.
Yeah, so JT has postulated at some point that his father may have had something to do with it, but there's been no proof or anything. That's just like a vague idea.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I guess you know me, but formal introductions are formal for a reason. I am Paul Ota, head of acquisitions here at Essos.
Yes, I am Nima Lost. What is your last name now again, Felicia? Because I would have your last name.
Who needs a last name?
No.
Why
It
can
was
you-
something it came up with the most Swedish of Swedish name. Oh, yes, Andersson.
Andersson, yes.
Andersson.
Yes. I'm Nima Andersson, and this is my wife Victoria Andersson. This is our droid, X4, and I kind of gesture at JT to introduce himself if he wants to be JT or what he wants to be.
And I'm the security droid.
Okay, fine.
Thorough, but fair enough.
Yes.
So, I've been told that you. I've been told that you have information of a plot against me. At least that's what that.
Something like that.
Slimy worm Matar.
Yes,
for
him.
me. I have kept myself out of the public eye deliberately to avoid this kind of nonsense. And so I'm surprised that you have said information. And yet Matar, slimy though he is, has some form of a record of getting what one wants. So please begin your presentation. And he sits back thinking that you're pitching. It's almost like Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
Just watching you. And he's waiting for you to compel him.
Yes. Do you remember an old safari? Is that what you want to tell him? But
Yeah, before you go, basically JT will step forward and say, "For your eyes only," and get looks at the guards. Is there a way we can show you something privately so that no one else in the room can see it?
He turns to one of the guards. They placed all their weapons in the locker. And the guard turns around and says, the woman has a pair of taser boots that we didn't find particularly threatening. I doubt that she'll be able to get through the screen with those. And yeah, everybody scanned fine, as they say. In that case, I think we can just work with the partition. You may leave us. And the security guard goes, "Sir, I think you can leave us. What are they going to do?"
yes.
And he hasn't heard the word safari yet.
No.
Yeah, so I think probably we just show him the video with no context and follow up.
Yeah. So we'll start with showing him the video. So
Yeah, because I want to get reactions.
Yeah. We'll start by showing you a video, and after that we'll talk. Okay?
As the video gets played, he first grips the table with his hands, and then grips the chair. And it's only through a form of grim fascination that he stays in the room. He looks for all the world somebody who wants to bolt. And he, at the end of it, is kind of mute, but kind of white-knuckled, gripping the sides of his chair, and says, "I presume there's more footage that you're not showing me, and you presumably want money to make sure that nobody sees?"
Not exactly. We're more looking of information to why.
I would like you to do me a negotiation check.
Or charm?
No. This is negotiation.
Yeah, you're talking to a businessman.
He is effectively reading you, but because you are willingly communicating the truth,
Yeah.
you get to roll to boost him.
Okay.
Yeah. So the diff is he is a willing participant, but of course he's afraid. So the diff is going to be 2.
Yep. Any blues from anywhere?
No.
No.
This is a straight.
Yeah. There we go. I'll make it in 3 advantages with my 1 light side points. 3 successes and 3 advantages.
I need to do a roll for him.
Ooh.
He looks at you and goes,
Oh, force dice.
We don't know that.
he's breathing heavily, but his hands ungrip the chair and goes, speak honestly and quickly. And he keeps his hand up whilst you're talking.
JT will step in front of Nima at this point.
You're all sat around a table.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
also.
okay,
Yeah.
right.
We are sat around the table with JT standing behind us, so
Yeah, you
you
could-
can probably just take a step forward.
JT
and
will
speak.
take a seat, actually, at
Yeah.
the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem phased. The barrier's there. He's got a physical barrier and energy
Do I
barrier.
recognize the pose of his hand?
No, it just seems to be a weird thing where he's just there like,
Yeah.
We have no more records of the day, except for one droid's faulty memories. They seem to be erased. The droid was, unfortunately, driven slightly insane.
would that be an LEVO droid by any chance?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
I thought I should take him with me. He did rather well.
And yet you didn't.
I was overcome by fear. You're the one that's supposed to be explaining. Explain. How did you get this footage? And what is your intention with it?
A hologram render of my old body.
Hologram Randa comes up and he goes, yes. The hand relaxes slightly as he starts to process it. Goes, yes. That's a fantastic moment.
Yes.
It will zoom in on some of the core code, some like identifying numbers. At which point I will show my whatever screen I have and show some of my code which matches.
There's a moment as he goes, and you're certain. Thank you, C10. Could it really be you?
Well, of course.
I don't want any retribution anymore. I want some answers.
Why?
I think I owe you that, my friend.
You owe me 30 years worth of answers.
To be fair, I thought you destroyed. When I fled, the battle wasn't over. Many people who had given me quite the adventure over the last few days had already died, you see. Thank you.
Do you know my designation?
I must admit I've repressed a lot of that encounter.
JT.
JTVO. Do you know what the J stands for?
I can't say that I do.
Jerk.
You can see as the jaw clenches, the worry lines on his face suddenly bunch up. He looks really intense and one of his fist balls, and then he goes, we're not referring to you.
The T stands for transport.
And it was quite apt, my young self.
So is this guy like 50, you said?
No, he's actually about my age. And
Were you 10 when you...
JT's clock is not completely accurate over those
we
years.
have never figured out the timings. He was about 19 at the time. He's in his 40s now.
JT claims 30 years because it's a nice round number.
Yeah.
We've never been able to resolve it because we didn't think it'd turn into a fucking campaign.
Sometime.
Yeah, sometime. Narrative time. And he says, yes, I was reckless. I was stupid. And I hadn't realized it, but I was hunted.
Did you put,
By whom?
did
Sorry.
you put the code? Was you the one who put the code into JT to do what he did?
No, that would have been my father's agents did that. Security
Why?
agents. To ensure that he would do anything to protect me.
Then
And I did.
Why
did,
did
and
you
you did
order JT to kill all the people there?
I pressed the panic button, like I was told to by my security detail. When I was panicking, I pressed the panic button, and one of the things it triggered was the near homicidal protection of your good friend here, who is
I
not
should
a simple
thank you.
security droid as you originally introduced yourself.
I should thank you for that, considering it has come in useful in my later career.
Yes, they would have put probably one of our Predator model reflex actions in your programming. Not your core programming, you understand, but probably grafted very close to it.
Oh, yes. I have read that bit over and over.
I should imagine it came in useful if you're ever in danger. Not that
Frequently.
I'm saying that is necessarily a good thing, but you've used it to some value at least.
You still haven't answered. I've explained everything that I know.
Very well. Now that I know that you're not here to extort me with that video evidence, you see, he walks up. As he's saying this, he gets out of his chair, walks up, starts kind of looking like he's stretching his legs. You see, plink, unplugs a video camera. So, yes, I know. I was fiddling with it. It's fine. I'm fine. Just keep open comms. I'll get you if I need you. Out. You see, that video is missing some vital moments. I think just before, just after. It's been such a long time. Reverse it to time point 3-12-57.
I do so. I reverse to the arbitrary time point.
I'm pretty sure that our astromech is on it. Otherwise,
Yeah, it gets. It says, do you see that tree over there? How many trees do you know that have legs? And sure enough, there's a leg hanging out of the tree. And as he points it out, he outstretches a hand, and one of the chairs flies across the room.
Ooh. Hello.
that's the thing I wanted to get some of. Where can we get it?
You can't just get it, Victoria. You need to, have it inside you. I was explained 100 times.
Yes, but things that want to keep targeting you. So if I get some, then they'll at least target something that can kill them faster.
No, let's
You're
not
being hunted too.
Very much so. I am.
He takes a deep breath, walks up, sits down, and says, were I anybody else, I would be selling you to Palpatine right now. Insufferable old fool.
And yet,
Yeah.
Let's just say he levitates a few bits off the table. We're birds of a feather.
Very much so, and I will, because I can't do the levitating thing, I instead press the force, the influence power thing onto, just gently on his mind to just let him know.
I felt you the first time. And you can see as these little, basically there's a small Japanese desk sand garden type thing, and he's levitated some stones out of it. And he's playing the stones around his fingers, like playing with a coin.
Is that what they were after you back then too?
They were looking for two things. My father rising to power. Power, when you achieve it, means that somebody always gets knocked down. Someone either unfortunate, unlucky, or lazy. Our enemy was the latter. He used what was left of his money to try and disgrace us. There was a rising enmity against Jedi and those who would attempt to be members. I was never one such person. You watch as he very gently levitates the pebbles perfectly back into position in the garden. Clearly he's honed what little ability he has. They wanted me dead. My father
Was it they who brought the...
Weakened.
What was the things called?
The
that we fought?
Rancors.
Yeah, the Rancors.
They hunt for
There were
sensitives.
rancors?
No, not Rancors. What was it? What's the...
No, the...
JT will just say one word. Fawn scare.
Thornscare. Yes,
Bonske.
Thornscare.
The colour drains from his face and goes, "Oh, those. I remember those.
They
You
went...
took out 4 of them. They jumped out all at the same time, and you just zipped around, and there was blaster fire everywhere.
We fought 8. How many was it? Oh, 10? How many did we fight, Sam?
There were 10.
We fought 10.
Are they after you as well?"
They were... When we visited the
They
planet...
hunt for sensitives.
Yeah,
We
they...
suspect that was why they were placed on that planet now.
Yeah,
You've-
it's fun.
You
Makes
found
sense.
some of the original Vonskis?
Yes.
As we understand it,
Yeah.
they
I
were...
thought you meant that you were being attacked by the handlers as well, the
No,
original
no.
mercenaries.
No, just wild dogs, Vonskis, yeah.
Very well. They tried to use the Vonskis for 2 reasons. First of all, had they torn me apart, it would have been a very bloody death, something that they could have sent to my father. My father would have been destroyed. He was a proud man and a strict man, but his love for me was never in question. The second was to prove to everybody what my father had been hiding for such a long time. I started using my force powers of kinesis to influence certain things. I was getting more cocky, very close to outing myself. Something that father said was a terrible decision. He decided, especially with the climate changing as it was, I think he predicted, was it
Order
66.
66.
I said 66. I think he anticipated that many years before it happened, or at least the sentiment. I don't think he knew where it was going to come from, but, well, let's just say it was his talent. He could see which way the wind blew and made the right decision to make sure that it caught his sails rather than sunk the ship. At which point you're like, sails? Ships don't have sails.
Yeah, well, he's not
Solar sails.
He was trying to clip my wings. I was very much I was brash. I thought myself young, indestructible, and it was, for the most part, he was able to provide excessive security, which I slipped away from. I needed danger. I needed to prove that I was better than anybody else. In remote worlds, on safari locations, especially if I could get away from my handler, I was able to use a mixture of my powers and a blaster to be able to hunt. I could trip up a beast. I could hold them away for a short period of time and blast them should they get the jump on me. I wanted to prove that the Force was with me.
I remember a particular Nexu you beat me to.
Yes. That was one of my cheekier ones. Wrapped its tail around a tree.
It's interesting to hear about someone who was sensitive back then, but was avoided detection, as we all have to do now.
I had to avoid detection far longer than many of, I guess, what would be our kind.
I can't imagine kinesis is a particularly subtle skill when used for business.
I have learned how to use it subtly. But yes, for the most part, I try to avoid it. I have learned my father's ways. I have learned to make the right decisions, to read people, to read situations, and make the right decision based on that. But it's always been good to have it as back.
JT stands up at this point and says, "This is all interesting but irrelevant detail. I want to know
This is it.
who, a name, a location, anything to take a next step."
Well, I hate to say, but you've kind of traveled far away from where my investigations led. My father insisted that I did not do anything to provoke them, to seek them out. As far as they were concerned, thanks to some of the explosions, they weren't entirely sure that I had escaped or not. After a while, it was clear that I had, and it was clear that they were never going to get hold of me ever again. My father still forbade it. So when he died, it was the first thing that I did.
Of course.
Part of my nature, of course. I guess that's something that I've never grown out of. I started tracking back some of the people that were involved. I had some interrogated. Some of them didn't survive the process. They needed quite severe processing.
So these are the guys that attacked you that made you press JT's panic button.
Yes.
And we suspect that these guys were the ones that killed most of the Lone Star Safari staff.
The Von Skiers were They weren't necessary. At first I thought they were. I thought that they were the way that they would prove that I had been touched by the Force. But later on I found out by one of the cameras that they were able to retrieve from the planet with footage much like this one. I've not seen this footage. That they were attempting to provoke a Force response that they could record. Use that as evidence if they needed to. Airsoft so far has been a little... they've always wanted to be Force neutral, I guess. It's bad for business. But it's not unknown amongst Airsoft that I am what I am. Only my most trusted allies, of course, know. They know that I haven't got much of a talent in that direction. I'm not particularly powerful. I just know a trick. Just like being able to make a cred stick appear from behind your ear. They know. It's yesterday's news. Carry on. Frankly, I know worse things about them, so I've maneuvered myself into a good position. But yes, I followed the and found that the Von Skiers were not necessary. That was something that was added out of sport. Now, mercenaries are not known for their sport, so I thought the client. It took me a while to track down the particular enemy they dealt with. But they did not specify that. Once again, I insisted on extensive processing. The Vornskir were given to the mercenaries by their patron, the people that my enemy contacted. Some sort of cult in wild space, near where the planet where you came from. As I say, you've traveled far away from where they would be. Out on the edge of the galaxy, a weird lot, into old superstitions and things. Presumably, they wanted the dogs to have somewhat of a run. I do know that from some of the evidence that I gathered, mostly witness testimony, that the Vornskir, the Hounds as they called them, were being trained to attack particular force users. You see, I've never been a particularly wise person. Intelligent, yes. I've always been foolhardy. I've always been a little young at heart. But I have always adhered to the good side of the Force. I've always felt the light within me. Even though I've had to step into my father's footsteps and I've had to defend myself in a galaxy continuing to be more dangerous and surprise us daily with how dangerous it can be, I've always tried to do my best. I sometimes stay awake at night thinking about it. I truly believe those Vornskir were being trained to hunt Jedi.
It certainly felt like it. I mean, those particular ones we were definitely wild ones. But yes, that seems to make sense.
Especially with the timing of it.
The question is, what kind of person owns so many Vornskir that they are able to send some of them out on an outing like that?
Yes.
Not what type of person, but rather what type of people.
There is something more. I don't know if you managed to try and use any of whatever the Force allows you out of Nima. But when I tried to throw one of the hounds away, no effect.
Yes. My specialty is emotion.
Which, of course, would have been useless in that scenario.
Yeah.
You do well at Essos, lady.
Is that his company?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the corporation he's part of. It's not his company, but he's fairly high up. He's head of acquisitions.
I use my skill in other ways, as much as a corporate lifestyle would be a very calm one. I don't think my dear wife could take such a calm lifestyle.
We would be bored within a week.
You have one of the finest battle droids that I've ever come across, who seems to be further upgraded. Miss Victoria, I fancy that your attire is not aesthetic, but
No.
functional.
Very much so.
And earned.
Your operatives,
Yep.
what is your mission?
Our current mission is to find out what happened to JT.
Wow.
JT was programmed by my father's agents to be my defender. When I was attacked by my father's enemies and by whoever, sick though they are, wanted to train their dogs on my flesh, I pressed a panic button. And JT, he seems to try the words out when he says them. JT was the hero of the hour. He gave me the chance to grow into who I am. I had a life.
I have a question.
Of course.
Do you feel guilt?
Every day. For you, for the others that died that day. Even though part of me says that I should not blame myself for the attack. I could have spent those years learning how to do more with this. You and I, sir, could have fought side by side. We could have saved some of your colleagues, some of my staff who died that day. And instead, it was all about me. It was all about keeping the stupid, brash son of a man of means safe. Many people there, though the attacked us all. But many people died simply because I existed.
Take that guilt, hold it in your fist, and help us. Atone.
Who do you seek?
Whoever did this.
He starts typing on a datapad next to him and says, "Is your X4 droid warded against intrusion?"
Of course.
He slides it up to the barrier and places in front of us. Place this datapad inside our unit. You'll have everything I have so far. Also, there are details to my private comm channel. Inside there is the closest area of space that I was able to ring down to regarding this cult. The mercenary company is no more. You do not have to worry on that score, JT. Many of the men who killed your friends, my staff, to died themselves, and not in a pretty way. This cult is all that remains of that sad, tragic day. We go after the owner of those Vornskja. Those who would hunt Jedi like... What does one hunt with dogs? Some innocent beast to be torn apart, limb from limb. I am, as much as I'm able to, feeling joy that you remain, JT. And I apologize for any hardship you suffered on my part.
Your apology is not accepted.
I apologize nonetheless. We all suffered that day. We had different fates, you and I. For me, it was the knowledge that day that I was not immortal, that I was hunted, that I needed to stay behind a gilded cage for the rest of my life in order to simply live to a ripe age. For you, well, if you wish for me to know the hardships that you suffered one day, I would take on that burden. But I apologize not. You shall have my support. As my father before me, I was a man of means. I shall be able to set forth what assets you will need to bring down this person, or hell, that whole cult.
They will burn.
And on the note of burn, you wouldn't have access to some thermal detonators.
Miss Victoria, you seem to have a very specific fate in store for whoever has wronged us. How many would you like?
As many as you can spare. If we blow up that entire planet, then
Maybe
Who's to
not the
blame
planets. Blowing up planets is like an actual thing that has happened now, which is horrible.
that is
so
true.
let's
It was a
not
bad
joke
idea.
about blowing up planets.
I shall have a consignment sent to you.
Lovely.
JT, the whole time the thing was open and the datapad was sliding through, the other
It's not opened yet. The datapad's still on his side of the screen.
right, okay. When that happens, if that happens, JT will be very close to the button which releases the gun, but he won't.
Okay. As I say, you have my private comlink, or one of them. I shall make sure it's attuned so that when you send the code that I have left on the datapad, that your Ardroid can send along with it, that it has the highest priority.
Thank you very much.
Let us
This-
hunt one last time.
This goes some way to repairing the damage.
Well, I shall be open to what else may be done in the fullness of time.
And JT will stand and wait for the datapad.
He stands up, bows, walks to the door, takes off the privacy. Door opens, security guy comes in, and he says, there to take the datapad. Once I've left, open the screen. Let them take it. He walks through the door closed behind him, at which point the security guy goes up, presses a contact on the wall, and the screen, and there's a as the energy field dissipates. And you can see this little kind of like 2-inch gap. And on the other side of the table is a datapad that you can just pick up.
I will pick it up and smartly walk over to X4, put it in, and leave.
Sure.
Well, hurry up after him.
The security guard salutes as you leave. As far as he's concerned, this has just been a business transaction. He's blissfully unaware. You get back into the antechamber. The drawl comes up and goes, will there be anything else? Any follow-up meetings? Or can I get you anything?
No, we got everything we needed. Thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure.
Fantastic. The lift is there. It hasn't left.
Thank you so very much. Let's go, everybody.
Okay. Cherry bye. Mind how you go. It's a little hamster. Mind how you go. You get in the lift. This time, kind of you feel everything rising as you're going down. And just as gravity reasserts itself, the door opens and the chirpy Togruta walks up to you and goes, "I do hope that you enjoyed your business today with Essos." Oh, okay.
Yeah, just blowing past everyone, trying to get back to the fire spray as quickly as
very
possible.
pleasant as our droid has a very urgent thing, but thank you so very much. You've been such a nice thing. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you for doing business with Essos there with the Essos Corporation.
Thank you so very much.
And she's looking really pleased with herself. You have a feeling she might be like a kind of it girl that's been given like a greeter job, and she feels like it's like the most important thing in the world because she's working in the same building as Daddy, and it's clearly as important as Daddy.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you can see that she's finally manicured. She's very well to do.
I mean, you get to meet all the same people as Daddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh definitely. Yeah. Say hello to them all. You leave her and she's just there grinning, her perfect teeth in your direction until you leave.
Yes.
Bye. Okay.
We'll take our taxi while JT gets to brood on his whip.
Are you going back to the hotel to talk to the girls because they've got kind of like the rest of the day there, or are you just going back to the ship?
Let's go to the hotel. It's like.
Also, I'd just like to stress we got all our guns and swords back before we left.
Yes.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Because you never mentioned that, and I forgot to unmute myself as I was saying we grab our stuff. We don't leave without our stuff.
Yeah, you have got it. You've got all your stuff.
Yeah.
And sure enough, everything is exactly as you left it.
We just need to wait at the hotel for a bit for our thermal detonators. So actually, we have a reason to use the rest of the day of our very expensive hotel.
JT is going to stay on the ship, of course.
Yeah.
And basically, he doesn't utter a word while we're still on planet.
Sure.
I tried to get him to come and talk to us. Message him.
Every man needs to brood every once in a while.
Just
We need
occasional edge lording.
Yeah.
She grew up around just testosterone giants. It's like, just let him have his afternoon. He's gonna need it.
There's a ring on your on the door of your platinum suite. The door opens and an Ithorian goes, "Madam, madam, a parcel has arrived. I'm afraid the nature of said parcel means that we can't, by our health and safety regulations, bring it into the hotel proper."
Yes.
No, can you take it around to the landing bay and just...
That will be suitable.
Our
The
droid
landing
will
bay
take care of
is
it.
a certain blast radius away from the hotel
Very
and
much
the
so.
rest of the citizens. Yes, we will have it sent there directly. It's currently in a holding compound, and it will be there in the next 20 minutes.
Thank you
Lovely.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Looks at you with absolute terror as the door closes. Just bear in mind, you're a bunch of rich people who have just bought,
Mini nukes.
eight mini nukes. And sure enough, JT, you're in the fire spray. The security droids that are around the fire spray are the type you really like. The software is good, their reflexes are good, but they're as dumb as a bag of bricks. They're glorified turrets. It's hard not to like them, or at least to be positively indifferent to. Sure enough, the Deveronian comes in one of his checks, and he's got not a hover cart, because you don't want that to just suddenly give out. He has a good old-fashioned roller coming in with a droid aft and fore. He comes up and says, "Security droid, are you present in the fire spray?"
Yes.
A package has arrived. A package that we don't normally take on at the hotel. Were you expecting anything?
Yes. There will be explosive devices. Be careful with them.
We have taken the utmost care, and you can tell your owners that every security measure has been taken. We've checked them, we've scanned them. None of them seem unstable at all. And where would you like them placed? Can we at least just
I'm going
give them
to
into your care?
kill like half an hour checking and scanning each one outside the ship while the Deveronian watches, while all the security droid watches.
They watch. Well, the droids keep their position. The Deveronian watches from the other side of the hangar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just double checking everything. He's a really good droid. He does his job really well.
You're spending
Everyone to
excessive
see it.
amounts of time on this, Ed, so this, of course, lowers the diff.
Yeah.
You've got a load of stuff on the fire spray that you can check. And you've got a high value in weapon combat skills. Yeah, these are on point. These are like straight off the assembly line. The brace that they're in is what they come off in the
good
assembly
shit.
line. These are probably the newest thermal detonators you've ever seen. You've got
Just wanted
8.
to make sure it wasn't a booby trap. Still don't trust him.
Haha, you said
No, but he gave us the good stuff. And
Yeah,
how many did we get?
8.
8.
Eight.
And they're in a. I'm gonna probably try to evoke some memories. Probably
paid
Paul might get it, but Ed might get it. But
for 8.
yeah,
Huh?
you used to get when you go to the seaside. You used to get these packs of water balls, and they used to come in a little plastic case. Yep, there we go. I've evoked a memory
Yeah.
already. It's kind of that plastic case, but metal instead. And it holds them all in place, all in a particular way, and most importantly, all of the initiators are all pointing inwards. There's no way of brushing up against this case and accidentally hitting an initiator.
Good.
So, and yeah, it's got like shock padding and all the rest of it. It's the real deal. They come out of the fucking factory like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, you put it back in the box, everything in the right place, close the box. It's perfect.
The next time anyone looks at them, there are 7 of them.
Yeah, because you have one in your grenade pocket.
Who knows where it is?
Who knows?
Your
That was
Yeah.
the point.
And JT will spend the time finding the longest bit of the. No, he's going to do this on the pad. He's going to get the security droids to set up targets because he brought his disintegration rifle, which he hasn't had a chance to train with much. So
Oh
he
yeah,
trained
there
with
should.
the disintegration
In our platinum package, there's probably something about shooting range because this is a rich people planet, and rich people like to show off
Yeah.
and shoot things.
This is an enclosed landing bay, so they do tell you can't shoot in the landing bay. In fact, if you start shooting in the landing bay because it's destruction of hotel property, the security droids will probably shoot you. And they do point out that there is indeed a shooting range that you can go to.
Yeah,
I
it's
will go and blow off some steam there, but I will bring the grenades.
Yes.
They are not staying on the ship without me.
Sure.
You could ask JT, X4 to check keep track of them on the ship.
Yeah, because I don't think you can actually
'Cause-
bring them
yeah.
into the.
Yeah, the shooting range is part of the hotel proper.
Ah,
You can't take all of them, but the one you've squirreled away, they wouldn't know is there.
of course not.
So yeah, you could go to the shooting range, but you would have to kind of signal X4, and X4 would come along and babysit the other 7.
Yeah, okay, so very frustratedly walking to the shooting range.
Oh yes, he is having the worst day. I agree, but
Yeah.
also this is probably the best day us have had in a while, except for JT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we like.
We are
Nima's
being
wondering
pampered
how.
at a spa.
Nima's wondering how she can like convince JT to like stay the night here so she can sleep in this very very nice bed.
Well, we have it for at night.
I mean,
and we're-
honestly, if you just ask JT, he will.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
JT is very good for you ask him to do something and he will.
Yeah.
So bastards
Yeah.
are gonna get nuked. Nah, they
So-
had it coming.
When X4 goes through the data pad, he points out to you that there are a number of leads that Polota was getting close to, but couldn't go any further without sending particular operatives into the field. And many of the operatives that would have gone for it, like kind of the equivalent of private eyes, certain spies, wouldn't want to join a crazy cult. And that's kind of where it stops, is that there are certain organizations that lead to this cult. Certain mercenary factions, certain organizations on some planets.
If
Some
there
are just local religions, I guess they would be.
Simon, when Extra mentions like different mercenary organizations, Victoria would probably try and rack her brain about it, because obviously she's of that background, and just like, wait, are this those bastards? No. Are they those bastards? Maybe.
It is your side of the galaxy. And the Valashar would potentially know about them.
Yeah.
You've been away from the Valashar for a while now.
Yeah.
So you'd probably have to visit the Valashar to get a lead on this, or at least contact them. You probably need to contact them rather than visit them.
Yeah.
They
Contact the
there's
in-laws.
a bunch of companies that if you wanted to send them off, you could probably send it to the Valashar and the Mandalorians with your contacts and ask, do you know anything about these guys?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'll
I
drop
will.
this on the table.
I will send a message to JT and ask if it's okay if we take a moment to process everything and spend the night here before we move on.
We'll talk about business in the air.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only response you get.
Yeah. So you guys have a lovely...
that is Nima's message to JT. Victoria says, this bed is too comfy. We're not leaving until the morning.
So you have a good night's sleep. And,
Very good night.
The next morning, with all of the other various luxuries that you had on the way, you head
An
back
amazing
onto
breakfast.
your fire spray, and shooting off into the stars, you have several leads that you can look into. Leads that would probably be the final piece of the puzzle when you give it to Nala, who is already tracking down this guy.
First thing JT says when we get into hyperspace, he's a coward.
Oh god, yes.
Oh, yeah.
He claimed he'd be happy to atone for the 30 years, however many years, I didn't count properly. But then he left the room before the screen was opened.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
He's
He
not
is
ready.
protecting his own hide more than he is actually caring about the situation. But at the very least, we can use it to our monetary advantage, because he's a rich fucker and he feels guilty enough to give us
He's pretty
immense
much
amount of
gonna-
explosives.
Is pretty much if you really want to, you can pretty much ask him for anything of monetary value and he will give it to you.
When this is over, I'm going to ask if he would go on that planet and live some years there. And if he agrees, he won't. And if he doesn't agree, he will.
Ah. Yeah, that makes sense. Are we gonna kidnap a rich person? Because that's a
Yes.
bit of a long scheme. We'll have to drag in Chevron. He's better at that than me.
I wouldn't recommend kidnapping rich people. That turns really ugly really quickly. We'll figure out some way, JT. We can make this right.
You don't need to be there.
It's not whether I need to be there, JT. It's about... I want to make this right for you, but I don't want you to lose yourself, as we do.
I mean, what am I anymore? What is my existence? Why do I exist? What is the point? It's all relevant.
Existential droid, okay.
No, to JT it literally does not matter.
Yeah.
Like, he still sees himself kind of as a commodity. Like, yes, he's got the freedom to do stuff at the moment, but he wouldn't be surprised if at some point you just took away the freedom and he wouldn't be like, I don't know, phased by it, I guess. Like,
You are one of my dearest friends. That's who you are. Your existence might be difficult for you to comprehend on a conceptual level, but for me, you are, as I said, one of my dearest friends and someone who I cannot, at this point, imagine losing.
would you begrudge a dear friend his fantasies?
No.
No.
But I want to keep him himself.
On we go. Back to the Sprawl, I think,
Yeah, I
and
think
wait
so.
for Nala and Ixo's work.
Well, we have 12 minutes left. I was wondering how far that was going to go.
Yeah,
And if you guys were going to go into it more, then I was just going to leave it there and say, okay, that's a good way to finish up.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
but-
how much can we fit in 12 minutes? Because I need to leave at 6.
I can fit in a fair amount.
Yeah, because I need to leave at 11 because I am super
Yeah,
tired.
it'll be straight on. So let's get into it. As I wrap up, when you get back, the first thing that you get, around about 2 days away from the Sprawl, is you intercept the coded message for yourself from Nima. Not Nima. Nala.
I was like, from me?
Nala says,
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, friend. Some of the evidence that you gathered allowed me to go down other avenues of investigation. Ixo realized that the type of modifications, especially to creatures as rare as the Vonskier, well, you don't get that everywhere. Between myself and Ixo, we've managed to find a small facility on the fringe of space where they modify rare pets, clone them in some cases to bring back non-existent species from fossilized remains. So we investigated. They resisted us for some time until Ixo dropped some names on them that terrified them more than the person who hired them originally.
Ooh.
I'm afraid I can't tell you a huge amount, but I can tell you the planet, and I can tell you the person who commissioned those Vonskier. I smell a middleman, but it's a start, at least.
Very much so.
Yes. Those Vonskier were not so much cloned, they're still available, but they were modified to order. Largely modified with some cybernetic component that allowed them to be influenced. Largely negative reinforcement, pain, and so on. But also attached to the devices allowed the regulation of certain glands to make them aggressive or to stem their aggressive nature so they could be more easily controlled by their trainers. Otherwise, the Vonskier, I'm sure, would have torn them limb from limb. I hope that your information gathering goes well. When you get back, be sure to look me up.
knowing that she has extra information in place, you go back to the Sprawl, you start flying through, and just out of fluke, the first thing that comes up is your asteroid base. You land, You transfer what you need to into the skiff, and you enter momentarily to just drop off what you need to drop off before going to do whatever you want. And it's at that point you see the fighter craft. Fighter craft is well maintained, if a little bit old. I'm not going to give you the model. You don't pay that much attention to it because there's a row of blood, trail of blood, coming from the fighter craft. The more observant amongst you, probably Nima, would notice that the left-hand landing strut has recently been repaired on the ship. Clearly the ship that came here before. As you follow the trail of blood to the Mandalorian shrine that you agreed to have installed in your base, leaning up against the shrine, currently tending to their leg, is a Mandalorian warrior. And that's where our new player will join us next session.
Ooh.
Nice.
So that's a great place to round up. So the new player is Rodrigo.
Yay!
Who's going to be coming back onto Chaotic Neutral for a bit. So they have some spare time at the moment that they'll be able to join for a while. Rodrigo has wanted to play a Mandalorian for the longest time. So when
we had those discussions.
So when Felicia did the Mandalorian arc, one of the things I put in there was, and we want to turn your asteroid into a covert. And when I said that, I had in mind that at some point Rodrigo wanted to cameo. So that's the whole reason why you have one there. So I've been setting this up for a long time.
Good.
Nice that he's got some time.
Yep. So I'm gonna grab Rodrigo between now and next time and build up the character. They'll come with a little fighter that they can fly around in, but or they can just jump into the ship with you. And that's pretty much it. You're going to have someone joining you for a little bit of the jaunt. Your own
Not helping with the light dark balance.
It's the edge of the Empire.
Maybe the Mandalorian is super light side and be like,
It's
Force and shit.
Grey. It's all grey.
The Mandos never really were one side or the other. They just had the way.
They were their
They
own
don't
side.
care. That's the thing. It's like there is no light or dark side. There is money, and there is the code. Very similar to how I built Victoria.
So it's nearly 11 o'clock, so we're going to stop that the game there. Big thank you to Felicia, Ed, and Corinne for their story today. And always, it is always my pleasure. I'm Simon, your storyteller. If you enjoyed our particular brand of madness and you haven't done so already, click the Discord link in the channel information below. Our next broadcast, our next game is going to be on Friday at 8 p.m. UK time to 11 p.m. UK time, where we will be wrapping up this particular chapter of the naming of the boy. And I'm sure some of the players will be relieved to know that the time in Atal'Zaran will be drawing to a close. But before then, there's going to be some very important things to be said and done.
I mean, don't we have to like kidnap a red dragon? Which Glory's gonna have to convince us to kidnap because we're like, well, I don't really care if there's like a dragon war in
You don't have to do it. I never at any point said you had to go and kidnap a red dragon. Kidnapping a red dragon is absolutely your choice, whether you're the type of person who wants to kidnap a red dragon or you're the other people. So, there is absolutely your choice.
People camp.
Yeah, there is. It is a complete option. Whether you go and kidnap a red dragon or not. So,
I'm happy with a dragon war. Don't care.
I'm not.
But yes, we will be joining Nick, Kate, Felicia, and Corinne on Friday for that. So as with everything that goes on in Illyria, my God, I've been using that world for some time now. Everything that the players does has a profound effect on the history. So whether or not they decide to help or not, whether they decide to do a little bit of glory story, I know they're kind of doing a lot of glory story at the moment, but this is the kind of does she do it or does she not? The cousins are going to prove themselves by hopefully ending a war in a way that only a Tezcatlipoca family can. If they do that, that will prevent a war. If not, it will become canon that in, we're coming close to 876 NO in Illyria, that Scoura will go to war with itself. Maybe.
Good job, guys. Have fun.
No.
So, so yes,
You
join
will
us then.
be outvoted. I can promise you.
Not necessarily.
But we will join you then. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Hermit, Paul, and who else do we have? We had Minion. Certainly, we had Minion. And Snipe. Thank you very much for joining with us today. And we will see you on Friday, where I will have done 5 a.m. wake ups for the entire week. So I might be a little. Anyway.
But it's the last one. It's the last.
It is the last one. I am changing job after this week, and I'm going to have a lot more time and a lot more energy. So until then, take care of yourself, and good night.
Good night.
Night.